Hey folks, welcome to Bear Mountain. It is now time to finish the JADAM compost experiment. We're going to pull these tarps off, and it doesn't matter where we're at, it's going to be where we're at. But I got to tell you, just from the level that I see from what I put when I put the tarps on to where they are today, this stuff is down 75–80% in many spots. We're talking about, getting it something it was like this is now reduced down to maybe about that thick. So this is going to be a central bed where we're going to put our pumpkins and our winter squash in, at least in the first half. And in the back half, we may put corn. And then off to the sides, we're going to be planting in the next week or two our dried beans. Today is well, by the time you guys see this video, it's going to be Memorial Day weekend, but it's a little bit before that I'm filming this. And I know that when I take these tarps off, I'm going to see things like ants, and I'm going to see some sprouted blackberries and things of that nature. But what I kind of wanted to bring you guys along with today is kind of give you some close-ups of the areas and how the stuff had rotted. And we had, just to give you a refresher on this, you could go back and look at the videos that we did. We did a couple of videos on this from the beginning and kind of midway through the process. It's been about 2 months, roughly. And so it is a long time to leave a bed out of operation. But at this point, we didn't have anything to put in here because we were saving it for our warm season stuff like corn and the pumpkins and stuff like that that will actually be ready by the end of summer. So some people ask, why are you raising all this stuff in tunnels like corn and stuff like that? That's kind of crazy. Shouldn't that be like, super high valued stuff? The problem what we have around here is we have a lot of deer pressure. And I already had these tunnels. I didn't build them specifically. We used to be in the flower business. So these are tunnels that otherwise we're going to tear down, but they still have useful life in them. So I'm using them to grow things like the potatoes and corn and squash and beans and stuff like that, because I have so much pressure from deer and I don't have a super fenced in area. So I can control in and out in the tunnel basically a lot simpler than I could to build a super large fence. We did a video a while back. You can kind of look it up, or maybe I'll try to put a link at the end of this, but the fencing system we put around our crate house, and it's been very good at keeping the deer and animals out of that tunnel. And so we're going to be putting that type of system, electric fence system, around the outsides of this tunnel and another one that we're also using. That's the one we planted our potatoes in. And deer aren't supposed to eat potatoes, right? They were able to sneak in because I left the side open too long. I didn't have my electric wire up. They got in. They nipped the growth nips out of a bunch of potatoes before they decided they didn't like them. They also not supposed to eat sweet peas. Took out a bunch of sweet pea plants. Luckily they're outgrowing it. They're pretty vigorous, so they're outgrowing the damage, but it did set them back. So when people say, well, deer don't eat these things, they'll eat anything. If they're hungry or they're curious, they'll nibble on it. They'll damage it. I don't know what to say about deer. Sometimes I think it's personal. I really do think it's personal. But anyway, getting back to this, I'm going to pull these tarps off and we'll take a look and see where we're at. All right, so we've got all the anchoring sandbags off here. And now it's just time to start pulling the old tarp back. And there's a bunch of stuff that I kind of anticipated wouldn't rot as readily as maybe the smaller, finer stuff. Like we had a lot of sticks. Oh, look at all these bugs. We got lots of bugs. And things of that nature. So I'm not going to worry about those kinds of things too much. I am going to pull the tarp back and just let this guy we're not going to put the tarp back on it tonight because from my perspective, this is probably not going to get a whole lot better in a short period of time. So I think we probably got it as good as we can get it. Oh, look at that. I got me a snake. So it's clearly warm enough for that guy to live under here. I hope he was busy eating all the mice that were under here, because there were a few mice. I haven't seen any yet when I've been pulling off the tarp. So this will freak a lot of people out. You can see from my previous pictures, there's a little bit of wildlife in here, which I'm okay with. That doesn't bother me. These guys will find their own home. They're already moving out. And so the area, this is like the first half, and I'm going to show you kind of like this part right here in the front is got more woody material in it, and it didn't really, I mean, it rotted down, but I'd say it's about that deep, which is what, maybe 7-8 inches tops. It was more than double this when I started. So the question is, what does this stuff look like? And what I'm getting here is this is nice, rotted, smells very composty. I'm impressed with it. I think I'm not going to mix it with a lot of dirt, but I think if I just aerate it up a little bit and keep it damp, it'll be a great mulch to plant into. Now, I'm not going to direct seed my pumpkins and stuff like that. I'm going to start them, and then I can pull this compost aside and put, plant them directly into the soil itself. And we'll use this compost as a mulch over the top. Now, most of the weed seeds, if there were any in this, I think because it's been fairly hot under this thing, it's going to be interesting to see how much actually germinates. I'm hoping not much because, well, that would be a real pain, at least before my pumpkins and stuff, put up such a canopy that it's not going to matter. I mean, I fully expect that I'm going to get weeds in here, but I'm just kind of hoping that it's not terribly too much. And this stuff will continue to rot down as long as I keep it damp, during the course of the summer. Pumpkins and stuff like that, I do have the drip irrigation down, so we'll be able to keep a certain amount of moisture on it. But I know that some overhead watering judiciously at certain times would definitely work. Wow, this stuff is really it's really breaking up nicely. Okay, so the material is actually breaking up fairly nicely. This is, I still have some oversized, obvious material in it, but it's actually in really pretty good shape. Let's see. My friend is getting upset because I'm taking away his places to hide. Well, he'll just have to work on that. Come on, man. This is my place too, man. No mice, though. That's good. Up, he's going out someplace else. He gave up. So this is a bit further down, and so I'm just going to kind of see what's going on here. And what I can tell is the grass, for the most part, has rotted down nicely. And again, this was all almost 100%. I would say carbon type material. It's not like your typical compost pile where I was putting in 40% green or anything like that. I had nowhere near that at all. We did use a JADAM liquid fertilizer on this. Every time we treated it with the JMS solution, we treated it also with a little bit heavier nitrogen based fertilizer. So that did do the trick. This worked out well. Now, the thing I've noticed here is that the soil underneath, I dug this all the way down just to see, and I can just get the pitchfork in here like nothing. So, I mean, it really breaks up nice. Look at that. Soil is just perfect. So this is going to be really easy to plant into. So I think this was a very good success. I mean, when I dig in it, it smells earthy, you know, like good compost should smell. So it didn't go anaerobic and just, you know, putrefy. This it actually had enough oxygen, but it kept enough moisture in it that the biology worked on the materials in here, and it beats, you know, hauling out yards and yards of material out of this tunnel, especially when I wasn't going to have anything growing in here for a while anyway. So I think that, you know, even if you weren't going to leave this, I'm going to leave it on the center bed, but even if you decided not to, I think you could, you know, spread it around the entire tunnel, and it would be just a nice, you know, addition into the soil itself. Uh, yeah. So I'm thinking maybe my fall refuse, you know, when I finish with the corn and all the other kind of stuff, all the bio waste that, if you want to call it bio waste, biomaterial in here, and just do it again, you know, over the winter time. And, you know, it was no effort. I mean, really, all they did is just get it in a windrow, treated it 4 times with JMS, about roughly somewhere between 5 and 7 days apart, and kept the moisture on it every once in a while, ran the drip irrigation underneath it. So the material was really well soaked, was covered with a tarp, and nature just did the work. I like this. A success. So I'm going to rack this one up as saying this one worked. I got one this year so far. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. This is not a super exciting video. It's about brown stuff, but thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.